action. Okay, you guys, let's get you right in the middle. Everything's looking fantabulous. I have a brand new jar of my Bob Ross liquid white. Oh, maybe I should have tried to get it open before the show, maybe. There we go. A brand new jar. I'm gonna pop the top, really shake it up, and then we'll get our canvas nice and wet and ready to go. There. Oh, there. Try not to get it all over the place, because that stuff is really wet. So, it looks like it's nice and shook up good, and we won't need much to do after that. So I'm going to get a 2-inch brush. Okay, we got our 2-inch brush over here. This is going to be a literally every single step video as I show you from the very beginning what to do, how to do it, right? This stuff is very flippy when it's really wet, so spread it out across our canvas. We don't need much. We just need our canvas to be wet, right? So let's put it down and around, and if you think you put on too much, you can always wipe it off with a paper towel. For a big old 20 by 24 inch canvas like this guy, we need a fair amount on there, and then we're gonna spread it out very, 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 very thin. And so you guys, let me know, how's your weekend been going? Has it been fantabulous? I got a haircut today. Hi, my name's Josh, by the way. If you've never seen the show before, or if you only recognize me by the back of my hand over here, my name's Josh. I teach oil painting in the wet on wet technique, very much like Bob Ross used to do on TV and Bill Alexander before him. And we teach the world for free, so no one's charging you to watch this show right now, right? You didn't have to pay anything to get going and learn how to do some cool stuff. This thing is irritating me. There we go. It's just not locked in enough. It still wants to come down. In any case, we'll be fighting with it all day. The easel is just about to come apart. You know what I mean? Like we're almost there where I'm going to be making the new easel video. When this easel finally breaks, I try to get literally every single use I can possibly get out of it before we get rid of it and pop a new one up here, and you never even know the difference, right? So all we're doing is covering our canvas with our Bob Ross liquid white. You have to have this stuff. You absolutely need it. It is 100% vital. You can also use the Grumbacher's liquid coat first white, but you have, or the first coat liquid white, whatever the heck it's called. But you have to 100% have a wet canvas in order to do the wet on wet technique, right? Your canvas has to be wet. We're gonna take wet paints and apply them to a wet surface. Okay, I like it. Now, let's get over here. We're going to go through the colors that we have today. Our Indian Yellow, Madder Carmine, some Phthalo Green, our Dioxazine Purple, Ultramarine Blue, Alizarin Crimson, Midnight Black, Titanium White. I don't think we'll really use, maybe our 2 brown colors, our Van Dyke Brown, our Dark Sienna. We may not even use the teal, so let's not even worry about that guy. All right, our Phthalo Green. Let's take a little bit of our Indian Yellow. I love this for a start, right? Oh, right down there. Right down in there. We can even plop it right down into here as well. Okay, we're gonna want some yellow into our lower area, and some out here into our sky. Now it's blending and becoming softer and softer and softer and harder and harder and harder to see because the canvas is wet with that liquid white. I showed you how to do it. Right from the very beginning, we were showing you how to do it on this guy. Right? Now, you're going to want to blend your yellow up and up and up. Give it something to blend in with because we're going to throw our crimson in here next, and that's going to want to grow a lot. Okay, we'll get our crimson paint, pull it out very small little bit, right? So we can load down here, not too much on our brush, and we can be able to tell how much is on there pretty instantly by the time you start brushing it, right? And then you're gonna brush it down and down and down and down. Being less and less and less pressure, right? Letting it blend more and more and more. And this is just our initial blocking in of our color. We're gonna go back with a clean, dry brush and really blend it down nice and soft. So don't worry about what it looks like. And if you wanna take this guy and just put a little bit of our crimson in from around the edge, maybe around this edge, just like that. Don't need too much. All right, we're leaving this space in the middle open though, because that's where our ocean little water is gonna be. Now normally, when Josh paints an ocean scene, it's not just on a white canvas, right? But I've been playing around and doing more things and realizing maybe people don't have a black canvas. Maybe you're uncomfortable with a black canvas. Maybe you really like the white canvas look. And so we're gonna do a few more seascapes on our white canvas. Now we're gonna go into our purple, right, way over here. If you don't have the dioxazine purple, use your blue and your crimson to make purple. We're gonna drop it on. This stuff is just gorgeous. It's just the most fabulous color you ever did seen, right? It can be very faint or it can be very heavily dark. Depends on you, really, right? Now we're gonna take that real heavily dark color, have it out here on the edge. Maybe it flows down underneath. And then just right in wherever we want our seascape or our horizon to be, gonna blast it on just like that, just about as straight as we can get it. And we're gonna blend it anyway. We just need a little bit of darkness, right? Normally, I have a black patch of gesso or something underneath, right? And you don't need that all the time. You do need a darker color though, and that way we'll be able to go across it with our white and have it interact and look like water, okay? The more we blend it, the more it's gonna blend away, but you need that dark patch out there. And that is just about fine. We could do the purple along the bottom as well, but we're gonna cover it with our brown sand, so we're not gonna worry about that. Okay, let's go wash off this brush because you can't very well blend out a sky with a brush full of color, right? So we'll go wash it off and then get back to blending our sky. I need more. If you ever wonder what we clean the brushes with, odorless mineral spirits, and I'm only showing you because I need more of it. I gotta get more of it out and on into my little bucket over here. I almost have none left. There we go. Just like that, guys. So, tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? Let me know in the comments below. Shake this guy off real good. There we go. Beat the bejesus out of it. Just goodness gracious. And then we'll try it off on a paper towel. You're really cool. Really cool, guys. Okay. Then we're gonna go back and blend all of this stuff like you've never seen it before. But where would we start? Where are we gonna start our blending? Are we gonna start it in the dark spot? Are we gonna start it in the pink? Are we gonna start it in our light area, in our dark area? Where are we gonna put that brush the very first time that we go to blend something? You tell me. Tell me, because I think you're not paying attention if you're not talking to me. Watching from New Hampshire, Jamaica, that's cool. We're gonna start in the middle. We're gonna start in the light area, right? Todd's like, ooh, this guy's gonna be good. We're gonna come down here into our yellow first and start getting some of that yellow paint back onto the brush. This is when you can sort of flatten out your horizon as well. Depends on how yours looks, right? Very, very, very softly brushing. The more that we get out here into our crimson-y paint and bring it down into the yellow and then back up and then back down, right? The more you mix it, the softer and softer and softer and softer it becomes. How softly do you want it to be? The softer you want your sky, the harder you're gonna have to push on it. If you're not pushing hard enough, you're not gonna get that blend, right? Now, our paints are blending nice and soft and easily because we have that Bob Ross liquid white on our canvas, right? The more of our liquid white that we use, or having that liquid white, on the canvas is vital because it's helping all these colors blend together and just become soft, right? And that's what we need. Now watch all this darkness try to come down into our sky, right? We can determine how far it goes by how far we stretch it. How far do you want to push on that paint? You know what I mean? How far can you get them to go? It's all up to you guys. You are in control when you are out there blending this sky. You are the one that's going to be out there painting it, out there looking at it, right? No one's going to be there to tell you to stop. It's all up to you. You are alone in this event. Well, I'm here with you, but I can't see your canvas, right? So no one's going to be out there telling you to stop. So you've got to decide when it looks okay when it's blended enough, how far, maybe we get some of that darkness to come down here as well. All right, maybe we blend it real soft, meaning we're pushing real hard on that purple down there. So maybe you can't tell where the sky is and where the water is, and maybe just leave a little spot of yellow or whatever, right? You guys are in control. You're gonna do whatever you wanna do every time. So, blend it out until your heart is content. That's very cool. Little light coming out from over there. Very neat. Now, let's get a little bit of our white paint. We get our titanium white onto an old nasty fan brush just so we can be really rough with it and really get it out there. Oh, it's gonna be cool. What if we had just a little look right on the edge, right? And see where this kind of purplish and the yellowish are kind of blending together. So what if we get right out there, pop it in, right? On top of our darker color, revealing the yellow color on the top. Group it down or pop up a little bit higher, wherever. Doesn't need to be anything, doesn't need to be crazy, just has to be bright enough. So you gotta have enough paint on your brush in order to stay white like that. Meaning you gotta goop it up, right? Get all that stuff out there, come out here and just deposit it at random, trying to spin the brush and move it and rotate until you get it off of the brush, right? You don't want it on the brush, you want it on the canvas. Now we'll come up here, we'll grab a little 1-inch brush and we'll start mixing it, little counterclockwise circles. And because all the paint is wet and it will stay wet for a long time, you can pick up little shadows and little differences and little things and mix it and push it and everything that you want to do. The more that you do, the softer your cloud will become, right? The lighter that you touch it, the more vibrantly bright it stays, right? Or more rough or more hard, right? If we're pushing on it hard to make it soft, then we're touching it soft to make it hard. Does that, I mean, that tracks, right? I mean, it's not hard, it's pain, you know. In any case, you have to push it if you want it to blend away. Right? A lot of people get up there and they'll just go like this and it doesn't really move and it doesn't blend out. And they go, well, mine doesn't look like yours. I'm like, well, get in there and just push on it hard. You know what I mean? You gotta push on it if you want anything out there to happen. You gotta be pushing. Now, let's say, since there's a whole big area way out there, right, way in the top of our sky, what if we had just a weird little, just a little floater out here, whatever. Doesn't have to be anything, doesn't have to go top to bottom, it's just there, right? It's just up there floating because we had a little bit of space. And then again, we can blend it by pushing real hard on the bottom of the cloud to make it blend down and become softer, right? And on the top of the cloud, we're touching less, so it stays brighter white and doesn't blend away all the way. So we don't need anything too crazy. Now, this area back here has gotten a little bit too bright with our mixing and stuff. So let's get our purple back on the brush. Okay, we'll come over here. It's a really cool, soft little sky though, isn't it? Just neat, just odd and weird. That's what it's supposed to be. Literally, it's what it's supposed to be. So we're using our oil paints, right? We're gonna come over here, we're gonna try to make a straight line. Let's see if we can do this. I gotta get in front of you guys. If I'm gonna do a straight line, I gotta be able to look at it and push on it. There we go. Right? A little bit darker back there is all you really need, seriously. And it really only has to be dark right in the center because we can cover the sides if we want to. Now let's grab our little bit of our titanium white. We never want to use our liquid white when we're on the furthest away part of our ocean. We only want the liquid white to start showing by the time we get way down here, okay? Now, you can also, if you wanted to take the time right now, get a clean, dry brush and blend out your sandy area, right? Most of this is going to be covered in brown sand, and we're really only gonna keep about that much, right? So it can't just be pure yellow. So get in there, mix it up a little bit, take some of the pink, mix it in with your yellow. It doesn't have to be the same as the sky above. It just has to be in there. And all we're doing is pushing the paints together, allowing them to slide across that wet surface. And all of a sudden, the more you mix them in there, the softer and more sheeny looking it gets. And then we'll hit it with some brown, so don't worry. Okay, let's get out here with our titanium white. We're just gonna pull it down flat. There's barely any paint in this pile, look at this. The whole pile consists of that much paint. okay? We're gonna use less than that on our entire ocean scene right here, okay? So we're gonna take our palette tool, we're gonna scrape down a little roll of it out there on the edge, and then we're gonna decide where our horizon is, right? We need to put the paint below our horizon so it has a chance to work upwards, right? Nothing out there is a straight line, so don't worry if it's not straight. You're gonna come down and kind of kiss the edge of your lip, and then you're gonna run up here and let it kind of fade off, and whatever, it doesn't matter, right? It's far away little waves. Now, maybe right here, maybe we got a little toss down, a little roll over. And again, doesn't have to be supremely bright, doesn't have to continue on forever. Maybe it flattens out over here because it's already done rolled its way, right? Who knows? It's only up to the viewer. Only the viewer, the person looking at it, knows what's going on. Let's drag these two together. And in here, we can just very lightly cut down, right? Little things. We're not trying to see the entire bit of all the ocean back there. It's very far away. Remember, we're not going to see all that stuff. So add a little bit of detail and forget that it's even there, okay? Drag this down again. We're getting a little bit closer now, a little bit closer now. We'll be able to see a few more little things. And now as we get closer, we're also going to need to get a little bit of our liquid white. The liquid white is a very runny, droopy. I didn't grab a lot, which is why it's not. Hang on, let me show you this again. The liquid white is a very runny, droopy, there we go, kind of a paint. Okay, so it acts like water, especially if we mix it in with a little bit of our titanium white into our liquidy white mix. Kind of binds it up a little bit. Okay, we'll come in here. Let's start extending this guy out just a little at a time. All right? It's gonna make him wider and wider and wider as we go. So we'll kind of drop down, do it again. Do it again, do it again, do it again. He's getting bigger, you see? Do you see? It's coming towards us. Do you see? These are always fun, these little, they're very soft, little seascapes. They're far away. You don't have to paint a lot of oceany water or anything like that, or details or whatever. Nothing has to be perfect. Right? Remember, we're gonna cover up the edge, so you don't have to even do the edge. Maybe let's get a little bit of space in between that guy. Right? A little bit of space out there. Drag it back along the side. Don't let them touch, right? All these little things we get to do right until we come out to right about where our yellow area is, okay? Now, let's take this guy and extend him down a little bit. Just work him back and forth until the line goes down. Drag it backwards. You are in control. It's the most fun painting the ocean because you can literally do whatever you want out there, right? Very far away. Now, let's take that liquid white with our titanium white, so the same paint that we got right here, right? Get down there. And then we're gonna make our water or our beach just shine like crazy. We're gonna leave a little space in between and then plop down a whole bunch of our liquid white, titanium white mix wherever you want it to be wet looking, right? You want it to be wet looking over here. You need it to be wet because the ocean has come up and then pulled itself away from us. Right? Don't need to go side to side. Remember, it's only really right in the middle. And how wet do you want it to look? Do you really want it to be shiny? Add a lot of that liquidy white paint in here. Okay, then we're gonna take it, we're gonna drag it downwards. So, there we go. Pick it up, use it somewhere else. Don't worry about what it looks like initially, because we'll come in here with our big old 2-inch brush. You can even use the Paint Josh 2-inch brush. You can get real close up here like this, very vertical, not out here like that, right? Very vertical so we can see where we're gonna touch. We're gonna drag it down very softly. The liquidy white paint is going to want to mix in with whatever's there almost instantly. It wants to blend away, right? Slide it down. Very, very, very gently go across it so you don't blend it away. Now you get this really shiny, wet area in there. Looking fantastic. We'll come back with the last little bit of our liquid white. You have to have some that comes out into that shiny wetness. Just a little line of it. Don't need anything crazy. Nothing too terribly big or noticeable. Just a little thing out there. Right? That is pretty much it, you guys. Everything else we're gonna cover with our foreground, right? Meaning that if you didn't go side to side, your bushes have to be big enough to fill in, okay? Okay, I'm telling you for a reason. Now let's go out here. Let's go get some more of our paint. We don't have enough of our dark brown yet. Let's see, we're gonna use the Van Dyke brown from the Bob Ross set. Ooh, there we go. Sometimes it just doesn't want to come out of the box. The reason I keep them in the box is because when you get those times where your tube gets a split in it from rolling it up or whatever, if you keep it in the box, you get less of a mess. I'm just telling you from experience. Just less of a mess. All right, where's my other color? There we go. We're almost down to the very end of this Winsor & Newton burnt sienna, which is kind of like our dark sienna from the Bob Ross set, except that it's a little more on the red hue side. It's very reddish brown to me, just to me. So tell me where you guys are watching from. Is this your first time watching? We got a few first time watchers. And then we got some long time viewers in there, guys. Some long time viewers. Get underneath that spot. Just blend it nice and softly. That's cool. Okay, now we're gonna get those two brown colors onto our brush. Okay, so we're gonna have our deeper, darker brown and our lighter color brown, which are both very dark colors, and mix them together right here on the brush. Right, just like that. Just like that. Remembering that our canvas itself is still covered in that Bob Ross liquid white. Even where we haven't touched it yet, the canvas is still wet. Okay, so we're gonna start out here very lightly from the edges, always from the edges first. Okay, allowing it to get darker and darker. The more we put on there, the more pink and yellow it's gonna cover up, right? So how much of that do you want to lose? You gotta lose a little bit of it as these things guys mix together, right? And the more that we blend, the softer, when we get to that yellow area, kind of pulling away, becoming much less of a touch back there. Right now, our brush just might have too much paint to blend out, which is okay. It's okay, we'll go wash it off. Then we'll go back and blend it out. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep depositing paint into our bright area. If we wash the brush, then we'll have a clean area to work, or a clean tool to work our bright area in anyway. So you guys, one more time, check in, tell me where you're watching from. Start thinking of a name for this paint. What would you want to call this little sunsetty seascape? What would you want to call it? I'm gonna get some of the yellow onto my brush first, and out into the brown, back into the yeller, over here. See what happens when you have a clean brush. Just the differences you can make without dropping all that paint on. We're not gonna worry too much about the bottom area because, why? Because we're gonna have our big old bushes down here anyway. So we don't really need to blend out the bottom section or the bottom corners unless you don't plan on putting any bushes down there. You know, grassy seaside bushes or your cattails or whatever, right? If you don't plan on putting any of that down there, then you better blend this out really well, and you better have gone to the sides pretty well as well, right? Now, we've got to mix up a bunch of black mix, guys, just a bunch. And since we put our brown over here, what was that mixture we went with? What are we gonna do? All right, let's get our black, I can't remember what it was. Our crimson, our blue, let's throw a little of our deeper, darker brown, so our dark sienna, and a little bit of that green, our sap green too. Might as well, right? That way, if we choose the highlighted and greeny yellows, the green that's inside our dark mix is going to help us with those highlights versus hurt us later on, right? And it still remains very dark. Very dark. That's a lot. That is a lot of paint, Josh. Goodness gracious. Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys a question. Do you think that this is enough paint to do what we need to do as far as two major bushes in the front that are gonna be taking up the majority of our foreground? Do you think this is enough paint? Yes or no? That's all we need from you is a little yeah or no. Just tell me now. Get that guy. This guy, that's better. There we go. Perfection. All I need is a little bit of color out here along the edge, just to have my seascape and my canvas look like it's finished around the edge. Right? Even though we didn't paint it all the way around finish it around the edge, at least with a little bit of color. Very cool. Okay. Get up here, over there. Just gonna go over it one more time. Bam. Okay. Now, do you think we've got enough color in this big old pile of paint? And I want you to do me a favor. I want you to not go anywhere. Promise me you won't leave for like the next like 3-4 minutes, right? Can you just give me 3 or 4 minutes out of your life to just sit here and just watch something come together? Right? Can you just promise me that? Can you give me 3 or 4 minutes? And I'll show you how to really push that ocean back into the distance, okay? We're gonna get in here with our very dark color. Now, no matter what, you gotta stay. No matter if I start doing something and you're like, oh, what has he done? Stick with me, okay? Don't leave. Okay, here we go. We're gonna come into our darkness. We're gonna mash up into here all that thick, crazy load of paint, right? We have to come up and push back some of our oceany scene, right? You have to trust in me that it's going to look good by the time we get done, because in the beginning, it's a lot of darkness. We came all the way down there. Who knows? How far do you want it to go? In any case, you sort of want to match your angle here. So we need to add some more down in there just to have the angle sort of match. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's going to help you when you're doing it versus having it flow up this way. That doesn't work, right? Always sort of match it. Make a little triangle, a little point out there, okay? Now, we're going to take all that stuff. We're going to slide it out, or vice versa. Slide it in. You can always blend this stuff out back in with the sand, right? After pulling out the base just a little bit. We're going to get lower and lower and sheet back further and further and further and further. Mixing it down, letting it blend in. All the while these paints are wet. Look at it. Look at it. Isn't that amazing? Seriously, how cool and simple was that? We're going to black out the majority of the stuff, especially down here. We need it to be very dark. Along the side of the canvas as well, and again, gives you that effect like it's wrapped around the edge, even though we only painted the front, right? Now we can decide, how bright do you want it back here? Do you want to take the color from way over here and sort of slide that light color back into your darkness? Do you want to blend it away? Do you want to add a bit of bright in order to have it change? How do you want it to look? And what do you think? You guys like that right there? Were you thinking, oh my God, what was he doing? What was he doing? Right? Or did you see the transformation? Right? Let's get out here with a little bit of our green, our yellow, and our liquid white. That's what that lighter color, our white color is in there. That's going to make our highlights pop off of our brush and stick to our darkness, right? With ease. If you don't, if it doesn't come off the brush easily, right, then your mixture is not correct. So with the slightest little touch, you should be able to deposit little things down here, over there, little places of light and dark. But each time that you do that, you're going to pick up darkness from that bush or that dark wet paint, right? So you go back on, you get a little bit more, you come back in here, maybe they're over there. Not everywhere has to be extremely bright or filled in or whatever, right? It's all up to us. You can then grab a little bit of your odorless mineral spirits, which is our brush cleaner, onto our brush. You see how wet it makes that pile of paint right there? It's very much like watercolor. And then you can project little guys up into and past and through your water, right? In order to push it backwards. If you're not doing that, and it's not flowing up or flowing out or pushing anything into the distance, then guess what? You got a painting with no depth, right? And a painting with no depth is no fun. So in order to have them project distance, look like they're growing, right? You decide what you want it to look like and put them out there. Now, a cool little part, little trick. Let's see, I gotta find the right size brush. There we go. Cool little trick about these little guys. We'll take our little fan brush, go into that very light mixture of paint, right? We don't need too much thick paint. And we also don't want to have too much dark, wet paint either, right? So we'll come up here like this, and we get onto the edge. Let's say we'll come up here, we'll grab it, and then a little flick, just a little puff, right? Kind of touching it, letting it whip off. Touch it, little spin. So as you do it, you're kind of spinning it, right? It's hard to do slowly, but spin like that. These little guys are blowing in the wind. Not everyone has one on there. And maybe you got one with a little old corn dog, right? One that hasn't popped yet. So what I like to do is kind of touch the center, roll it out one way, roll it out the other way, and then all of a sudden you got a little corn dog plant chilling out there in the night. Let's roll the tip. There we go. There we go. Now he looks more like a little corn dog, right? All these things you guys can do in your painting, and you can change it every time that you want to and make it look a little bit different. Let's go back, get the rest of that paint. And if you said that maybe we would have enough, I think you might be right. Let's come down over here, out into there, just flowing down, right? Keeping a little gap in between, because we don't need everything to be overly filled. Maybe that guy pops out a little bit. Down over here, filling it up the same triangle shape as we go down. Right? You have to put this darkness in there, otherwise nothing is going to stand out as far as your highlights, right? You'll just have a very flat thing because you have no dark. You gotta have the deep dark spots and the weird things and the bits and the stuffs in order to have that depth, right? It's the same thing. You get darker down here. Boom, boom, boom. Then you go back and you decide where do you want it to live. Just slide it out. Work that downward angle, right? So you're going from a high spot down to a low spot. Same thing here, high spot down to a low spot. That's gonna help you. I'm telling you. I'm just showing you. Mix this guy in. And we got a little bit of shadow back here. Right, a little bit of shadow back there. That guy's a big bit of shadow. Let me stretch him out a little bit. There. There. See the differences? Give you a little indication. You might be able to get around to the front. Who knows what you're gonna get into back there. You can pop another one right here. Seriously, do we have enough paint? Do we? Like this. Right there. Bing, bang, boom. Right, now we got a little pathway. You can literally walk down to the beach. Right? Who has been here? I've been something that looks very similar to this place. Right? Have you ever been anywhere that looks like this? Can you imagine yourself walking back down that little beachy path? Oh, I sure can. I sure can. I was just at the beach. I feel like I gotta go back already. Right? Look at that. Your eyes. Looks like a place someone would go to get married. You like walk down the path, you know what I mean? Very cool. Now let's put some highlights on these guys. And then we'll go get crazy. I'm going to little my yellow ochre. There is no yellow ochre there available to be used. There's nothing in that little pile. So hang on, give me a sec. I know I'm gonna need some more of my cad yellow, so I might as well get that out. That's our brightest of yellows. Where is now my yellow ochre? Aha! It seems to find its way to the bottom of my paint bin. Now the yellow ochre is much more of a deep, dusky, like deserty or dead grass brown kind of a color, right? So it'll give you a little cool little difference when you're doing stuff like this. And you can still mix it with your green. Right? Still get in there and mix it with the green a little bit. Just be a slightly different greeny color than it was before. And maybe down here, you start popping in little things, bits. The light doesn't go all the way to the back, so don't put all your green way the heck back here. If anything, let it get darker, darker, darker. As you get out there, and it all changes and gets darker. Over there, over here, where do you want it to be? Wipe off your brush if it starts getting too overly full. And then, there we go. Go back and load it up and keep going. So we go back for our liquid white. Every time that I'm going to put some new color or a new bit of highlight or something, I'm always going to go back into the liquid white, and that way I can ensure that I'm going to have really wet paints. I came up here and just started tapping on a couple of these little guys. Just a few, right? Leaving some spaces in between, because not everything out there, it has to be covered, okay? Instantly, my brush goes a little dark. That's okay. Get back over here. We'll get our liquid white out. More of it onto our brush. Come back up here. Get more of our yellow ochre color on there. Pop down. There's a couple little things down over here, over there, whatever. Doesn't all have to be the same. Remember, not everything out there is always going to be exactly the same. A little bit of our cad yellow color. Just change up the difference. Little places. Doesn't have to go all the way down. Doesn't have to do anything. Right? We're in control of what it's doing every time that we get out there. We can choose to do it a little differently. You guys catching a lot of sun out there. Very cool. Now let's get a little bit more of our spirits into that dark pile of paint. If we have any left, there's like nothing left. There's a little right there. A little old bit. Let's come out the top. Right? How far up into your sky can you go? This is why we didn't do a lot of clouds. This is why we didn't focus a lot on the background waves, because your focus is right here in the front with all of these little doers, right? A couple little bits, things that are growing out. Some are thinner, some are thicker. Some might be little branches coming out of there. Some might be all sorts of stuff, right? Not all of these are the same species of plant either. So you don't have to worry about that or anything looking exactly alike. That's the best part about these kind of paints. Let's get up here like this again. Little flip, little flip, right? We're in control of our flips and how big our little flips get. So if you want it to be bigger, pop a little bit more out there. All things are up to you. Yes, there we go. There we go, that's a good one right there. That's a good one right there. I can just imagine walking down to the beach, just chilling all the way as I go, right? We're gonna take a little bit of our plaque mix out here on the edge of our palette. We're gonna spray in a couple little things right there. Try not to get them far out here. We're gonna work right here in this little area. So you get these little brown speckles come out, right? We're gonna go back, we're gonna do one more little area. So you dip into your odorless mineral spirits, you shake it off real good in the can, so there's barely any on there, right? Get it out here. You gotta have a little bit more than that. A little bit more than that. There we go. Because you want it to run like watercolors. Okay? There, that's it. Holy moly, that's too much now. Okay, let's back up a little bit. Again, be very light, very little bit, and toss a couple little brown little specks. Now you got black specks, you got brown specks. What comes last, guys? Anybody? Anybody? What is the last color that we're gonna put on there in order to make it look like our little sandy, gravelly look that Paint Majosh is just mega famous for? It's not true at all. Not true at all. I don't know why I ever use purple paint. It always gets on my shirt or my arm or something. I need to put it in a different spot on my palette. Does anybody know the last color that we're gonna use to make our sandy spray? Anybody? Definitely purple. White or yellow. Yellow works too, right? But it's white. The liquid white paint, okay? We just need a very small amount of it. We don't even need to use the big old palette. We can use our little palette tool right here. Palette scrapey tool. We don't want to have too much. Let's wipe off the brush a little bit, right? The closer you are, the more tight your spray is. The further away you are, the more loose and larger the spray will be. There, look at that. A couple little white specks. All of a sudden, don't you see some gravel right there? Or some sand or something? And you get that little texturous stuff. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? I just love it. You guys, God, that looks cool. Everybody watching over on YouTube, make sure you give me a thumbs up. You guys are awesome. Amanda, thank you. James over there. But yeah, a little bit of our white. You can always go back a little bit more. But don't make them too noticeable, right? The more noticeable they are, the more it kind of detracts from the rest of our painting, right? You definitely don't want to get them too high up here because that's where the water is very wet and compressed. There's not a whole lot of loose sand and gravel out there, okay? So now it's up to you guys to come up with a title for this painting. Tell me what you think we should call it, right? What would you call it if it was yours? God, I so want to put a palm tree in here too, but the sea oats don't really go with the palm trees. So we decided on sea oats today instead of palm trees. Why aren't they called sea trees, by the way? Palm trees are found by the sea. Why are they called sea trees? Literally. Okay. You guys start coming up with titles. Type them out. I'll come back here every so often and read a couple titles. Let's see. This one's available right on paintwithjosh.com, just like Cosmic's telling you. You're liking this? Thank you, Goober Him. Appreciate you. Let's see. Paradise. That's a cool title. Oh, thank you for Queen Bee. What's that? Queen BK52. Appreciate it. Hot Dog Heaven. I like that. Heaven's Gate. That's kind of cool, too. That's kind of nice. Heaven's Gate. Just imagine myself going just out there and floating away. I see your vision. I see it. Okay, I'm going to finish washing off these brushes. You guys are going to keep typing in titles. Right, that way, we'll be able to have a really cool title. Now, if you purchase the painting during the live show, you get to pick the title. Whatever you say gets put on the back. I literally had a person call a painting Tim. Literally. You can call it whatever you want. But you have to be the one that goes over to paintwithjosh.com and purchases it. And then you get to come back here and tell us what to name it. And it all becomes up to you if you grab the painting while we're doing the live show. Afterwards, it's already going to be named. So, you're going to miss out on that opportunity. Unless you get it during the live. There we go. Okay. We're finished. I got maybe 3 more brushes we got to have to clean. So keep typing out those titles. And then we'll be looking for the titles. Bucket. There. There. Okay, perfection. Man, that's a workout. Okay. Awesome. Let's see what kind of titles we have as we get all cleaned up. I really can't wait to see your guys' versions of this one. I can't wait. Dream Walk, Sandy Palace, I like. Dark Sea, Dune with a View. Hey, Josh, who's also an artist. I like that. Isn't it such a burden to be named Josh? I mean, we're the best looking name in the whole English language. And it's such a burden for all of us Joshes that have to suffer with just being so terribly good looking. And come in here into our dark areas and different little spots where we can launch in little branchies and stuff just by literally removing the paint and exposing the white canvas underneath. This is the reason why you leave little dark spaces. So your areas and your little stuff, and then all these little flowery stems and different little things that are growing up from underneath. And it's just a really cool way to make very, very small little guys without having to use a brush. Coming from your dark holes, your dark little spaces underneath, holding everything up, right? Never going to see every single one, obviously, but we will see a bunch, so you have to put a bunch in. Very cool. Okay, what are we going to title this one, guys? I Can't believe you guys haven't gone and gotten this one yet. This is a monster-sized canvas for an average size price, I'm telling you. For this size, anyway. Okay, let's get out here. Throw the old bird fam in. Just go caw-caw. Right there, right there, right there. Caw-caw. This guy always... There. Yeah. There we go. Gorgeous. Love those little birdies, my guys and gals and painting pals. What do you think of this painting? Come up with a title for us. And like I said, if you rush over there and grab it during the live show, you get to pick the title forever. And then it becomes yours. Okay, let's check it out. Plus, you get to get the spinny winny wheel, which we still have to do Honeybee's spinny winny wheel from yesterday. The secret place. I like that. All right, this is where you go, where like, this is your one spot where nobody is at this beach. Nobody comes down here. This is your place to just chill and relax. I feel that. I feel that, you guys. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Okay. Let's see, pastel waves, I like that. I like that, that's wicked cool. Dune with a view is neat too. So, let's see the secret place. Let's go to the secret place, Chris. Okay, I'm gonna go to, in any case, I love all you guys over on YouTube. I never want the tutorials to take too long because we could sit over here and just chit chat for another 30 minutes. And let the time get away from us. And then the tutorial looks like it's an hour and 40-minute tutorial when in fact it's just a 47-minute tutorial. So I do love you guys over there on YouTube. I can't wait until we come back again tomorrow and we'll do a whole brand new different kind of a thing and show you how to do it step by step. So until I see you guys again next time, take care. Have a good day. And bye. It's been fantabulous, YouTube. I just love ya.